I would like to preface this video by saying I had attempted to record this numerous times with me in front of my webcam, but kept stumbling on the delivery during recording, as I was originally going to make this unscripted with bullet point notes as reference. After numerous recording attempts, I decided to just talk in front of my mic with videos I made to fill in for the lack of having myself in front of the camera. Howdy, Full Metal Cowboy, slinging a channel update. I am coming back to YouTube. If you have been following this channel for, let's say, 5 to 10 years, depending on who you are, you may have wondered, where have I been in the last few years? Well, some things have happened in those few years that will sum up why I have been gone for quite some time. Primarily, it was due to what you could say is writer's block, because difficulty in script writing reviews was a major hurdle I was dealing with. But I like to think that I was facing a creative block, because it wasn't just script writing reviews that I had a hurdle with. I was also fighting with myself with ideas of what to review back a few years ago, as well as being worried about video quality, as I no longer use my camera that I originally used to record my reviews, as it doesn't hold battery life very well as it used to, and I think it has seen better days. Plus, it could not handle loud volumes. When I do get back to reviewing, I will be using my phone for the time being until I get myself a proper camera. I can at least say that my phone can produce very good video quality, but if I see any artifacting or jagged edges, I will try my best to smooth that out in post. All of these hurdles I had in the past led me to have a burnout, and I figured I needed a break, which eventually led to a hiatus, which I should have addressed in a video back a few years ago. Around this time, I was also focusing on building my Twitch channel, which I will touch up on later in this channel update. Also, in 2023, my mother passed away, which also contributed to the hiatus. Lastly, there's work. I have been holding 2 jobs as of lately since 2023 out of necessity. What I'm willing to say is that it is not me doing 2 shifts back to back on any given day. It goes without saying that work has higher priority than YouTube content, but I aim to balance those things as best as I can. As I make my return, I do have some pilot reviews I wish to announce and release sometime soon. Why do I call them pilot reviews? If you know TV lingo, you know. But I figured it would be good to emulate that practice to see which mediums I should focus on. By the way, this will be the start of a reboot of my review run. Now, before I reveal the following pilot reviews, I want to address that reviews going forward will be primarily spoiler-filled. If I do review something like a film currently in theaters or something in any medium that has been out less than 90 days, I would do a spoiler-free review. Side note, just to clarify one thing regarding film reviews, when a film is released digitally, streaming, or on home video, then a review on that specific title will then be spoiler-filled. Anyway, I'll start with anime as a means to play on the word pilot. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Gunbuster, and Gurren Lagann. Fuck it. I'll add panty and stocking since season 2 of that anime is currently airing in Japan, and is also releasing episodes weekly on Amazon Prime. For films, I will do a generational pattern regarding fondness of certain films. What do I mean by this? My grandfather loved westerns, so I figured that the Dollars trilogy would be a good choice. Besides, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is widely seen as a quintessential western in the medium of film. As for my father, The Godfather was his favorite film. Therefore, I will review the Godfather trilogy. While I have reviewed that trilogy before, I do consider those reviews to be amateurish in places, and I would like to provide an updated version. Then there's the Star Wars original trilogy, which is what I've been fond of for years, as well as my grandfather and father in their time. What I said about the Godfather trilogy and me making updated versions also applies to the Star Wars original trilogy, as I reviewed that before. In regards to television, I will review Avatar: The Last Airbender, and a show I've been wanting to talk about for some time after it finished back in May of this year. Regarding music, I plan to review the full current discography of Radiohead. If you know me quite well, this is pretty typical. Lastly, there's video games, which I will only do 2 pilot reviews for that medium, as I am sure reviewing video games will be more time consuming for me to make. Anyway, those reviews are going to be Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda. Why? Because Super Mario Bros. Was the first video game I ever played, and it has a developmental connection with The Legend of Zelda, which I'll address in my review of that game. By the way, those reviews in particular will not lead into a series of reviews covering those franchises. As I return to doing reviews, there will be a new feature that will be shown in some reviews depending on the content being reviewed. Those being content warnings and disclaimers. For example, when I do get around to reviewing Andor Season 2, there will be a content warning for that review, as I will talk about an attempted sexual assault scene that is in Andor Season 2. As for the disclaimer, this will usually be me addressing that my opinions expressed in a review do not reflect the problematic views or actions that a certain creative has said or done. While I do look forward to getting back to doing reviews, there are some things I can't help but think about time and time again. Entertainment discourse has gotten so fucking ugly for nearly a decade. Sure, some creatives injected preachy political commentary in certain works, but grifters also inject their political commentary in the slop they produce.
I talk about, I talk about says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
And I say this because a number of these grifters are not subtle about their politics whenever they use their appropriated definition of the buzzword woke. If anyone assumes I'm a liberal for saying all this, I'll have you know that I am an independent. I don't like Ghostbusters 2016 either, but that's because I found it mediocre and its humor unfunny. I also didn't like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars because it was ill-planned during the course of production. As for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I lost interest in it because I did not like how the multiverse concept was being executed. And I really don't like the first season of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and I can articulate why without sounding like a grifter. That's because I found its pacing to be sluggish at times, the Tolkien estate being restrictive on what could be adapted from the Second Age, but those pale in comparison to the biggest bunch of fucking bullshit on display in The Rings of Power. The very scene that I think redefines the term jumping the shark. Behold, surviving the pyroclastic flow. I hate this scene so much because I find it to be bad writing and bad direction. You want to know why I refuse to watch Season 2 of The Rings of Power and beyond, even if it was recommended to me? This scene is why. The one thing I would like to make clear before I get back to doing reviews is that my approach to reviewing any piece of entertainment media is that I like to treat it like I am giving it a day in court. I articulate what I think about something, and I plan to do the same with everything else before and since whatever title I'm reviewing. Unless I have a reason to get involved depending on the situation, I intend to stay away from the fatiguing culture war in entertainment as much as possible. I suppose I could address social media since the culture war has been mongering in some places, especially Twitter, which I haven't been active on very much these days. And it is because it is so mentally draining. Not to mention, the toxicity that I was making quite clear earlier is rampant on Twitter. And I do question why some of my online friends have remained on that platform. I have been limiting my usage of Twitter all year. By the way, I still call it Twitter because I hate the stupid rebranded name X. And I find Blue Sky less vitriolic. Seriously, I think people should hop onto Blue Sky and get the fuck out of Twitter. But hey, you do you. One last thing I will address about this channel, specifically for this update, is Patreon. I am considering setting up a Patreon page, but I'm not going to just yet until I get into the habit of content creation, as well as figuring out what exclusive perks would make a supporter subscription worth their while. I can worry about all the logistics of Patreon membership perks at a later time. Well, that's pretty much all I gotta say in terms of updating you on what's happening and what I soon plan to do. But before I go, I got some plugging to do. About that Twitch channel I mentioned earlier, that is my exclusive platform for video game streaming, so if you want to watch me play video games or react to something gaming related, you can find me on my Twitch channel, which is in the description below the video. I also have a live reaction / watch-along channel called Full Metal Cowboy Watches, so if you want to watch some stuff along with me, feel free to do so. The link to that channel is in the description down below. And while this didn't play any part to my hiatus, I do a side hobby, which is AMV editing. The footage you see is actually from the few AMVs I have made so far. If you like AMVs, check out Full Metal Cowboy AMVs. The link to that channel is also in the description down below. And there are numerous other platforms that I'm also on, but to save you on time, I'll just plug my Linktree page, which is quite convenient to compartmentalize numerous links to platforms and channels all in one place. And the link to my Linktree page is in the description down below. That's all for now. See you, hopefully, sometime soon.